I...
Mr. Murdock?
Would like to apologize to the court for my client's behavior. And I would also like to apologize to the court for my own behavior. And furthermore, I would like to ask for a recess and a meeting in your chambers with opposing counsel.
Who is that man back there?
Oh, well, Your Honor, I'm Mrs. Whitney's chauffeur.
Remove that man.
Well,
now, where were we?
Okay, good. Let's go.
Your Honor, the jury is aware of the incident. One of them saw most of it.
Oh, damn. Thank you, bailiff. Mr. Murdock, your request is granted. Court is recessed for 30 minutes.
Remain standing. Mr. Karr, you okay?
I'm fine, bailiff. Thank you. Let's get on with this.
This way, please. Mrs. Defarge?
Right behind you.
Who said gorilla? That scene has done nothing but harm to your cause.
Your Honor, I would
Mr.
like...
Murdock, let me finish. The situation is even more serious because the jury managed to see most of what was happening. I'll entertain motions for a mistrial, then we can all start again from scratch.
Oh, no, please.
Declare a mistrial if I feel that the course of this trial has in any way been swayed by this incident. You both understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well, Your Honor.
You have some objection, Mr. Karr?
No, not this time.
Very well. Mr. Murdock, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would first like to say that the outburst outside was absolutely unforgivable.
Mr. Murdock, her behavior has done nothing but encourage such behavior on her part.
I realize that I have made a very big mistake in how I've handled myself up until this point. I would like to make up for that. I must admit that I had doubts about the strength of my case. Well, frankly, because I had doubts about my client.
This had better be off the record, Mrs. Defarge.
Certainly, Your Honor.
This is no longer true, Your Honor. I do not think that the behavior of Mrs. Whitney outside is the behavior of a guilty client. Granted, she was at the end of her rope, fighting to get her child back, but her behavior was not unwarranted. Let it suffice it to say that I now believe her. And in fact, her behavior was not unwarranted. For example, she could have rushed the bench, Your Honor. She could have attacked you. It was not...
Not the alamo, Mr. Murdock.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just would like to emphasize to the court what Mrs. Whitney has been through. First of all, Jamie's governess tried to take him away from her for her own selfish reasons. Then Logan Swift. Now, granted, he may have had a legitimate claim, but he tried to process this claim by force of law, and now the law comes knocking on her door yet another time, trying to break apart her family.
That was never the people's intention. Mrs. Whitney is on trial, accused of murdering the boy's father.
Mrs. Whitney is innocent. Innocent until proven guilty.
There was grave concern. Mrs. Whitney might try to influence the boy's testimony.
Is that the only reason?
Under the circumstances, that seems more than enough.
Well, then why not bring Jamie Swift down to chambers immediately, question him, and return him to his mother where he belongs?
Have anything to do with what you wanted to talk to me about the night you came over here and we found
Miles and Liz together? Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he was just trying to comfort her. I mean, she acted pretty upset.
Huh. Acted?
Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. It's just... I don't care for her that much.
Oh, please. There's no need to be sorry.
Didn't look like your day with Miles was going to the Mitzi's place.
Well, it didn't go badly. Of course, we talked about work a lot, and then we had to go to the forensic lab, see if Liz's sculpture was okay.
Yeah, Miles told me that Liz thought somebody had been prowling around there.
Yeah. Changed the calculation.
Look, you didn't want to come here and talk about the sculpture, did you?
No, I didn't. And I'm not sure you're the person I should be talking to about this, but my instincts tell me that I'm right.
Beth, you know you've done a lot for me. If there's anything I can do to help you...
I love Miles.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, great. Does everybody know?
Oh, no, it wasn't that. It's just that... Well, I mean, we've worked closely together for quite a while now, and the signs were there, as much as you tried to hide them.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Yeah, but it's terrific. I mean, why are you trying to fight it?
Jody, I I came over to talk to you about Preacher.
What are you still doing here? Who's Marty and Jamie?
The city of Monticello.
What?
Well, right after you and Preacher left the house, that Detective Egan and a social worker showed up with a warrant to remove Jamie.
They can't do that.
Well, they're in the judge's chamber right now, talking it over.
Scott, thank heavens you're here. Raven has been creating total chaos in this court.
Well, I can't say I blame her. What are you doing here?
I've been called to testify for the prosecution.
Well, don't worry. For the first time in this case, we're making some progress.
I most certainly hope so.
We are. Don't worry about it. Isabel, excuse me. Bill? My name is Scarlett Whitney.
I know who you are, sir.
I'd like to see my wife.
Gentlemen, wait here, please. I'll have to ask Judge Trahaney.
Thank you.
The court does not wish to cause undue stress to the defendant, particularly in these circumstances. If the prosecution agrees, I'll see the boy in chambers immediately.
Your Honor, Mr. Whitney is outside. He requests permission to take part in these proceedings.
Mr. Karr?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Murdock?
I have no objection, Your Honor. Mr. Whitney and I have patched up our differences.
Very well. Oh, bailiff, Mr. Karr, where's Jamie Swift?
I believe he's in the social services office on the 9th floor.
Bailiff, after you show Mr. Whitney in, please go get Jamie Swift.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The court is not unaware of the emotional cost of this trial. There will be no contempt of court ruling. However, I will not allow another outburst from the defense table of any kind.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing, Peter?
It's all right. Jamie's going to testify, and then we can take him home.
Your Honor, I hate to interrupt, but I was wondering if I could have a word with my wife and her attorney in private. I have here a copy of Rick Meade's statement. It puts Alicia in Logan's room after Raven left. It was she who hit me on the head.
Did you get this from Meade's security deposit box?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Problem? That's an understatement. Where's Meade?
I've got someone out looking for him now.
Well, you've got to find him. This is absolutely worthless. You obtained this illegally.
Worthless? What do you mean worthless? This places Alicia in Logan's room the night of the murder. Don't you see? It was she who did it.
I don't care. You have to find Meade. All this will do is put you right in jail.
And why you want to talk to me about Preacher?
Well, because you two are in a somewhat different situation than I am.
Oh?
Yes. Well, you see, well, you love Preacher, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Miles.
Right. I think that's great.
Great, great. And you sleep with Preacher, don't you?
Beth, what kind of question is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm handling it badly, but was Preacher the first?
Look, if you're going to give me a lecture about anything, I just want you to know that I've taken care of everything. Thanks for saying.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I'm sure you're very conscientious.
Yes, I am. If you're going to talk to me about morality, Beth, I would
this
just
is not going the way I wanted it to go. Look, Jody, I want to talk to you about something that I've only told one other person in my whole life, and that person's my best friend, Juliana Stanhour.
But why tell whatever it is to me?
Because, you see, you've made a decision with Preacher that I've never made.
What decision?
To go to bed with him.
Oh, but you're old.
Well, I'm not that old. I'm 34.
What I meant, you mean that you never, never?
Never. Jody, in every sense of the word, I'm a virgin.
The judge is going to ask you some questions, and I want you to tell him the truth, okay?
If you don't know the answer to anything, then you just tell me you don't know. Go sit in that chair.
Wait a minute, young man. We're gonna do better than that in my place. There you go. Now, you just sit right up here on this best seat in the house, huh?
Jamie, you promised to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I promise.
Mr. Karr?
Jamie, I just want to ask you a few questions about how you first came to visit your mom, okay?
Jody, it isn't that horrible. You look as if I just confessed to being an axe murderer.
Well, no, it's just that... I'm sorry. I just thought that every adult had...
You're an adult?
Well, yeah, but I knew it. A virgin. That's why you fought falling in love with Miles. Even when he was interested in you, you still fought it. But why, Beth? I mean, being a virgin, I mean, even a 34-year-old virgin is nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, well, I kind of think it's neat.
Neat?
Well, it sure is different.
Yes, it certainly is that.
Wasn't there ever any man that you thought maybe you might like to make love to?
Well, there was a boy in high school that I had a crush on. And then, well, then there were a couple of men in med school who acted as if they expected it of me. But no, I mean, there's been no one. I mean, until Miles.
What are you afraid of, Beth?
Everything. I'm afraid I've waited too long. I'm afraid that I'll be inept. I'm afraid that Miles will think badly of me. And I'm afraid he'll laugh.
Oh, Beth. I can see we have a lot to talk about.
So that night, Jamie, your dad really thought that your mom was coming back to live with you?
He hoped so.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me, how did you feel about that?
I wanted us to all be together again.
So then your dad took you to your mom's house to stay while he was going to talk to her. Is that correct?
Mom.
Judge, how long does this have to go on?
Your Honor, just a few more questions and I think we'll be finished.
Maybe if he had a toy or something to play with, he would forget about the questioning.
What do you think of those?
Keys.
My children always love to play with keys.
Keys. Keys.
What about it?
Keys. Jamie loves to play with keys.
Yeah, so a lot of kids like to play with keys. What's the big deal?
Mr. Murdock, please remember your newfound humility. I'm not fond of private conversations when testimony is being given.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
The key that found its way into your drawer, Logan's key.
Now I have a confession to make.
Oh, there's no need to?
No. I've wanted to talk to someone for a long time now. About Preacher and me and sex. I just didn't know who to talk to now that Nicola's gone. I couldn't talk to Miles. He's a guy. I really needed to talk to a woman.
Oh, and I would have been so glad to listen.
I know. It's just you always seemed a little unapproachable on that subject. Now I can see why. Excuse me. Hello?
Jody, this is Preacher. Now listen to me, okay? I've been calling the Whitneys and there's no answer and time is running out on me.
Preacher, what's wrong? What's happening?
What's happening is I'm on the trail of Rick Meade right now, but I got a problem. I got a big problem. and I may need some help, so you might have to call the cops, all right?
The police? Preacher, what's happening?
Let me tell you where I'm at.
Preacher! Preacher! Preacher, hello? Preacher! Preacher!